welcome back, future KConquerers, to All Kill, a K-pop podcast where we talk about all things K-pop and KCON. It is week 3 of the podcast, or 4, actually.
We're on 4. Can you believe we're on the 4th one?
I know. We're already on episode 4. So last week, we gave you details about budgeting for KCON and accommodations and travel, which was super, super intense.
But I mean, that's really one of the most important parts of KCON. So it really is, you really just gotta listen to all of it because you need to know what do you have to do? Like, you really need to know, crap, how am I getting from hotel to convention center? How am I going to start looking for hotels? How the heck am I going to afford all of this? But that's why we're here.
Yeah, so we really wanted to make sure you had that information super early on, so that way you have the most amount of time possible to start saving up. But this week, we're going to be talking about arguably our favorite part of the convention.
But at the same time, our least favorite part of the convention.
Yeah, I think the favorite part of it is actually doing it. Our least favorite part is accomplishing everything. So, yeah. So the thing we're talking about this week is benefits.
Woo, benefits!
Yay! Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we've talked about benefits for the past 3 episodes, and we've always been saying, you know, wait until a later podcast, wait until a later week. Well, today is that week.
Today is definitely that week.
We are going to finally tell you guys all there is to know about the artist engagements, the art of the artist engagements, in fact.
Oh yes, because there is a fine art to making sure you get everything you want.
Absolutely. But before we tell you the fine art of the artist engagements, we should let you guys know what the heck is an artist engagement. And every time I say that now, thanks to you, Kris, it's always going to be, what the heck is a Hufflepuff? What's a Hufflepuff anyway? I can't not get that out of my head. Anyway.
For any of you AVPM stans, like, you know the struggle of what is a Hufflepuff.
Look, all my fellow Hufflepuffs out there, we are acknowledged and we are loved. Anyway.
We're also really good at finding things. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So.
Back to the matter at hand.
Yes. So let's go over what are artist engagements. We went over this briefly in previous weeks, but now we're going to go super in depth with everything. So artist engagements are the most up close and personal encounters that you can have with the idols who attend KCON.
Yep. That's basically it. This is like, if you want to go to KCON for a particular artist, this is it. This is how you get like the closest you can possibly get to the artist.
Yeah, this is essentially like the Super Bowl of KCON.
Yeah.
The most important part, in our humble opinion.
And I think the part that everybody gets the most excited about, like, I think there are some people who it might not be their thing, but for, I think, a majority of KCON goers, this is kind of what everybody looks forward to the most.
Yeah, and it's definitely the thing if you're on the Facebook groups, which there are a ton, and I think on a later episode we'll be recommending some for your possible needs in this particular case. It's the thing that you see them talked about the most throughout all of the KCON Facebook groups.
Yep. So let's go a little bit more into what does that mean? What do you mean the most up close and personal with the artists?
So essentially the artist engagements usually last about an hour in total. So that's the hour for everything to go on. And as far as what the artist engagement is, it's broken up into 3 different parts. One is an artist Q&A. So this is usually pre-selected questions are asked to the idols and then they are answered. Usually it has something to do with either their current promotions going on or big events, or if they are a particular kind of idol, they'll cater towards more of like what their particular strengths are. So that's usually what the artist Q&A is. Sometimes there's a game, and the game could be, I don't know.
Last year was charades. We went to an EXID
Oh,
artist engagement,
yes.
and they actually brought an audience member up on stage with them, and they played charades with this person. And they showed it was animals, right? They showed an animal on screen, and then the
Yes.
person had to guess the animals, and EXID were acting out the animals, and it was really cute. I believe some other artists played games as well. Not every artist will play a game,
No.
but there is a chance that some artists will play games. So that's really exciting, even if you're not the person who's up there with the artist. It's really fun just kind of watching whatever's going on, because usually it's pretty chaotic, but I mean, it's a mess, but
Yeah.
we love it. We
Yeah.
love it.
I know in the past, I think Stray Kids last year did like the 2 times speed challenge that goes around a lot in
Oh.
KCON.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw videos of them performing that. So they can even do
Mm-hmm.
like a small performance as well, which,
Yeah, that's another thing.
but then think about it. If you attend their artist engagement, that's one song that they have just performed. Then throw on top the other songs that they're going to perform at KCON itself. That could equal up to like at least 5 or 6 songs that you're going to see them
Mm-hmm.
perform.
Yeah, definitely. So, the artist engagement is a fun time had by all, but even those two are not the most important thing that goes on during these artist engagements. No,
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 it
no,
is
no.
not.
So the most important thing that happens during these artist engagements is the high touch,
Oh, the
which
almighty high
the
touch.
almighty high touch, which if you're a K-pop fan, you probably have heard this or maybe have done one yourself in the past. But what a high touch is a select few people get to go up onto the stage and basically high five the artist on the stage. So if it's like a group, you just are kind of high fiving everybody down a line. If it's a solo artist, you're just, high fiving that one person. But this is like when we say you're getting up close and personal, like they're usually sitting behind a table, the
Yeah.
artists. So there's just a table separating you from the artist, and it's like hand on hand, you are high fiving these people and staring into just their beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it's a really fun experience. It's not necessarily something that you have to do.
nope,
Um,
absolutely not.
but for our purposes, we're going to assume you're going to want to do it.
hmm This is kind of the high touch is the most coveted thing to happen at KCON. So
Yes.
we're going to really be focusing on that because I think a lot of people really want to get the high touch of their, favorite artist. So just kind of wrapping up, or at least wrapping up this little section, 3 main things that happen during the overall artist engagement. So the Q&A, a game, a performance, something else that usually happens, and then the high touch, and in that order as well. And
Yes.
that all lasts around 1 hour.
Yes. So now that we've gone over what takes place at an artist engagement, which is what we are going to call it, that's the general
hmm
overview term. When does this happen?
hmm So how this kind of works is, as we've said before, KCON is broken up into 2 days, day 1 and day 2, for this year in New York, Saturday and Sunday. So for the artists' engagements happen on the days that the artists are performing. So, for example, last year we went to EXID and 101's artist engagements. Both were performing on Sunday that day, so their artist engagements were on Sunday. If the artist is performing on Saturday, then on Saturday is going to be their artist engagements. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're just starting to plan out your day. If the artist you want to do the artist engagement with is performing on one particular day, that's the day you're going to need to block out time to, go to that engagement.
Yes, and this also plays a part into check-in as
Mm-hmm.
well because you don't want to have the high touch that you want. Say you want to really have a high touch. Last year there was Pentagon and Stray Kids. Say
Mm-hmm.
you really wanted to have a high touch with Pentagon. Well, Pentagon was having their high touch on Saturday, but say you
Mm-hmm.
can't get there till Sunday. Well, then you're going to be out of luck.
Yeah. And this is something we're going to go over in the next episode when we talk a little bit more about the art of the artist engagement. But definitely that is something to keep in mind. Again, so the day somebody is performing is the day they're doing the engagement. So in a similar vein of when this all happens, so usually they're separated between an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. So one artist engagements will probably start at 10:30, 11 in the morning. Then the next one will probably run around 12:30, 2, 4, something like that. So just know that if you have maybe multiple engagements, you've got maybe an hour and a half between each engagement. So again, just plan that throughout your day.
Yes, and usually they will have a time where the line for your artist engagement will start up, although everything is a little different this year, being that it's in the Javits Center. But I assume that they will probably have the same, at least, lineup system, where probably at least 2 high touches out, they'll start allowing you to line up, so that way you can get in line to be the first one.
Yeah. Cool. So we did when these happened. So how does one get one of these magical high touches, or who are these lucky people that get these engagements?
So we briefly talked last week about the benefits packages that are available to purchase through KCON. Usually people who buy these benefit packages are the ones who are able to take place in the high touches and in the artist engagement or the artist passes. So those who have a high touch typically have to buy an A1 or an A2. And then obviously Diamond and Platinum, they have their own high touch system. But Diamond, you have all access, like we said last week. And then Platinum, you have 2 guaranteed high touches.
Yeah. So I think what's important is to kind of differentiate the people who are part of these artist engagements. So there are 2 kind of sets of people. There are those who have high touch passes and those who are doing the high touches. And then there's those who have audience passes. Now, the people who have audience passes do not get high touches. However, they do get to go to that artist engagement and they kind of just watch everything. So you'll watch the Q&A, you'll watch the dance, the performance, and then you actually can watch everyone else do their high touch. So if you can't get a high touch, kind of the next best thing is to at least get the audience pass, because then you're still like in the same area, the same room as the artist you want.
Yes, and one thing that we haven't been touching on along with these benefits, there is a benefit of a red carpet, which I just want to briefly go into because a lot of the times some of the artists who aren't doing audience engagements will definitely show up to the red carpet, so it's a really good piece of information. So red carpet is about, how long would you say, hour and a half?
I don't even
hour
think
and a half, 2 hour.
I think it's less than that. I feel like it was only an hour.
Okay, so anywhere from about an hour to 2 hours. And what happens is that the artist will come in these really nice outfits and they'll come up on this raised stage platform area, and you'll have a bunch of people surrounding the area that's kind of blocked off. And they will be interviewed by some sort of an interviewee. Either it will be someone who is with KCON or some sort of other famous person within the space. And they'll ask them questions. And that's where the star... What's the thing called? The Star Road?
Star Square.
Star Square. Sorry. That's where the Star Square fan letters come in. Because there you can submit questions or comments or whatever. And they'll draw them out of a big box. And they'll answer questions. And then they just kind of stand there, let you take their picture. Then they'll say, thank you very much. We'll see you tonight. And then it's kind of over.
Yeah, I just would say during the red carpet, each artist has 10 minutes. And I think that's being generous.
Yeah, like I think Super Junior had like 10 minutes. And that's, it's Super Junior. So
yeah, they were kind of the big name act that evening. So the red carpet is separate from the high touches for the high touch and the audience pass. That happens kind of later at night. But that is something you do have to buy one of those artist engagement packs to get.
Yes. And I just wanted to briefly touch on that because a lot of the times, like last year, we had 3 SM artists, and the SM artists attended the red carpet, but they did not attend any of the high touches, which we will go over which artists will most likely participate in another episode.
Yep, probably next episode when we go through a little bit more about the benefits. You'll see. You'll have to tune in next week to find out. But kind of in that mindset. So how do you get like that red carpet? How do you get the high touch? So just off the bat, you do not get to choose who you get.
No, you never get to choose.
Flat out. So it's not like you say, oh, I see that. I'm going to keep using 101 as an example because we saw them last year. 101 is yeah, also that. 101 is happening at 2 p.m. I will go to the 101 artist engagement. Nope, 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 nope. You need the particular 101 pass to get to the artist engagement. And for that, there are a set number of passes for each artist. So it's not like, how many people would you say go to KCON? 10,000?
I think if they sell out each night, it's probably going to be like 20,000 people roughly attend the concert. As far as the convention, I'd probably say 10,000 attend.
Okay.
At a time.
Yeah. So there's 10,000 people. Not all of those 10,000 people are going to get a 101 high touch. Those 10,000 people, not all of them are going to get a high touch in general. There are a set number for each act. So the odds of you drawing a certain artist are pretty small.
Yes, and that's where the different levels of benefits really do come in.
Yes.
Because like we said last week, there are certain benefits packages where you get a guaranteed high touch. The ones who don't, unfortunately, in most of our experience, you don't typically get that. If they say it's a chance, assume it's a no.
Yeah. So last week when we went over the different tiers, we told you guys that, for this price, you get this guaranteed high touch, you get this guaranteed audience, or you get this chance. So if it says guaranteed, you are definitely getting a high touch. You're not going to know who it is, but you are definitely guaranteed a high touch. If it says a chance, that's exactly how it sounds. You may get one. You may not. And I don't think we could even tell you what the odds are of pulling one if you have a chance because
no.
There's just so many. There's so many tickets going around that I don't even know.
Yeah, because they sell as many as they usually sell. A lot of the times A1 will sell out and A4, which I think was the you could sit in on like everything on that day as the
like
artist,
all the way in the back.
Yeah, audience passes. I think those two sold out really, really quickly. And then the A2s, they had them on day of. But I would say, personal experience, odds are you're probably not going to get one if it's a chance. Just based off of probability, because they have to guarantee a certain number. And they can only have so many people in the high touches per session.
Yeah. So what that kind of means is, again, there is a set number of people who are going to get a high touch. And what would you say was it for 101? I feel like it was definitely maybe over 100 people.
I want to say it was either 150 or 200.
I would say maybe closer to 150. I'm just in my mind trying to remember how many bodies were in that pit. Let's say there's,
of course, they could be expanding out this year.
They never know. Yeah, that is very true. We don't know how many typically are in LA, but let's say there's 150 people maximum that are allowed for the high touch. You have to block out a certain number of high touch passes for those who get guaranteed high touches, but then also kind of sprinkle some among the people who have chances. So if you get a chance, you may get one, but odds are you may not. But again, it's all kind of based on luck. And the really only advice we can give you for that is you have to buy an engagement pack. That's kind of like the big gimmick. So again, the only really guaranteed way you can get a high touch is to buy the A1 engagement pack that guarantees you a high touch.
Yes, and I know a lot of the times online, particularly in a lot of the Facebook groups, people will talk about how, oh, we're just going to hold out and then buy it from someone else.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good strategy because then you're assuming people will be selling them and not wanting to use them. And a lot of the times, this is kind of our personal belief. I don't really believe in setting up a monetary value to these trades or to these sells because when you automatically go in assuming that you're going to be spending money, it becomes a bidding race even before anyone has their hands on it. And it can drive prices up. And unfortunately, a lot of the times for the really, really in-demand artists, I mean, you could be looking at, if you're looking to buy one, say last year Pentagon was extremely popular.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I heard someone buying them for like $300.
Oh, yeah. Like, people spent obscene amounts of money for these high touches. And I mean, when we were in the one-on-one line, I heard people offering $500 or more. It was insane. So, like we said, the kind of best way to go about this, if you know you want to do a high touch, and you know, even if it's for one particular artist, buy yourself the engagement pack, because at least then you have something to kind of wheel and deal with, which is going to be all next episode. We'll talk about what we mean by that. But, you know, depending on the artist that you want, going in trying to buy something might be difficult. But that is fair enough. Another way that you can get your hands on a high touch or an audience pass is to not buy an engagement pack and just wait to buy it off of somebody. But that is very, very luck based.
It's even riskier than buying an A2, honestly. Yeah. Like, assuming that you aren't going to get one, and then going there and assuming someone's going to be selling the particular artist that you want, that's super, super risky.
Mm-hmm. We don't suggest it, but I mean, it is on the table.
It's honestly, it's up to you, but I would say one of our beginning tips for KCON was to be kind and be courteous to other fans, and I think that's not to pass judgment, but I don't think that's a very kind thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of sell something for like above the
profit.
Market value. So there is another way that you could possibly get engagements, and that is actually winning them at some of the KCON booths during the convention, which Kris has experience
last year. Last year we got extremely lucky. When we attended KCON, they had these jerseys, and we had all bought one-on-one jerseys because they were super, super cute, and they kept us from getting sunburnt. Plus one. And when we went to the merchandise booth, when you bought something, you were able to stick your hand into this box, and if you pulled out a particular color kind of tennis ball, you were able to get a gift, like a prize. And I managed to pull out the right color. I'm not gonna go into how that happened. But I managed to win. What did I win?
Wasn't it a one-on-one audience?
Yeah, I think I won a one-on-one audience. And they have either one-on-one audiences, they have like a whole stack of them, and sometimes they can be high touches, sometimes they can be audiences. So that's a good way. Like, if you're going to buy merch anyway, it's a good way to get something extra.
Yep. So you could win it at that booth. For the past few years, they have had, I don't even know what the actual booth name is. We just call it the Toyota booth.
Yeah.
Because Toyota has been the main sponsor for KCON for, I think, since it started. And what they've done in the past is you actually go into a car and you drive this car around, and once you're done, you actually have the chance of getting an artist engagement afterwards. I don't know if they will do this year, because since KCON was always outside, you could just go to this parking lot and then drive the car. I don't know what they're going to do this year since it's inside, but Toyota was another booth that was giving out artist engagements. Olive Young was giving out artist engagements. So there are booths that will give out artist engagements. Not always going to be a high touch, but it's just a chance to maybe win an extra audience engagement, or get one if you didn't buy one kind of off the bat.
Yes, and like we said last week, the Toyota booth is a great place to sort of see artists, and I believe that they have other games that also have a chance for you to have interactions with the idol at the booth itself. So there's tons of chances to get interactions. There's tons of opportunities for you to find ways to get closer to idols in a KCON approved way.
Yeah. That is big. In a KCON approved, safe way for everybody.
Yes.
There are ways.
Because while we are not in any way endorsed by KCON, We very much subscribe to a lot of their rules with these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we value a lot of KCON's tries at bringing these things to the US, when before, let's be honest, a lot of the Korean music labels didn't care about international fans.
Nope.
So yeah, you'll never hear us saying, oh, this is the workaround for X, Y, or Z. That's not how we kind of operate in this system.
Yeah. We work on the legal side.
Yes.
Of KCON. Even we don't work for KCON. We just
no, but if they want to help us out every once in a while.
Yeah, KCON, if you want to sponsor us, we will hype you up.
Also, just saying, if you guys want us to come to KCON, you can request us. Because I know that there's a section to request influencers within the K-pop sphere. For them to come and attend panels and stuff. So if you guys want to see us at KCON, I'm just saying, you could request us.
That'd be fun to talk at a panel.
Even KCON LA, we'll fly. We'll go there.
Oh, I'll fly cross country. That'd
Why
be
not?
Fun. Road trip.
Why
not? A road trip. We'd fly.
No, not road trip. We're not doing road trip. That's 5 days. No.
Still could be fun. But anyway, so kind of the general episode has been about the high touches and the audience passes and red carpet and all of that fun stuff and what everything is, when it'll be, what to expect. But kind of the big wraparound is this is a great opportunity for so many fans, but it can get hard to get the artist you want. So how do you go about getting who you want?
Well, you're gonna have to tune in next week for those questions to be answered.
Oh yeah, we need an entire separate episode on how to get the engagement you want. And we will tell you our experience, but let me just tell you, we have a system, and that system
we have an intense system.
An intense system, but let's just say we went from probably a level 1 artist to trading up to a 101 high touch, which is probably the second most coveted high touch last year.
Yeah. So we're going to go into depth about how we sort of handle a lot of our trading processes, and we'll have a brief discussion about what type of artist would be likely to have a high touch. Yes. Because not necessarily every artist who is attending will have one, depending upon who they represent. And that's a little sneak peek as to where the conversation will be going with that.
Definitely. So that's really it for this week.
Yes. And then I believe the following week we'll be having a discussion about artists. Ooh, which should be a super fun discussion. We will be talking about how the artist announcements work, sort of what to expect going forward, which is going to be really important because we are coming up on artist announcement seasons. We could even be in the thick of it by the time that announcement comes around.
Which is funny to think about because KCON has been suspiciously quiet this week. And I'm just
it's been super weird. Realized. And we had that one announcement of they're changing the venue, they're changing the date, which again, great. Awesome being inside. Not so great for us. But KCON is both a lovely thing that we greatly admire, and also something that we find vaguely, annoying. Anyway,
that's just the tagline. You love to hate it and you hate to love it.
Yeah, we love attending, but also we just every year we're no, we're not gonna go back, and then we end up back going in the thick of it, being like no, we have to go.
This is great.
So we'll be discussing that, and then also we'll be giving our own predictions.
Yes, I'm really excited
about who we think is going to go. Because we've done some intense research.
We've done, I think, more research for this than I have ever done for a paper for school, ever.
Which is sad because we're both in grad school. And the fact that we've done so much research for this versus our own education.
Which we don't recommend. Stay in school, kids.
No, stay in school, kids. We both are working on she's done with her higher education stuff, and I'm still working on mine, and like, work hard. Please don't take us as good examples on this.
Yeah, we're not the best examples, but anyway. So, as usual, thank you all for tuning in. This was a shorter podcast this week, but next week will be making it up. And
well, after last week, it was super long.
That was true, yeah. But again, we had so much to talk about, and it was super important.
But yeah, that's about all we have for this week. Again, I am Christina. You can find me at Kris crossed _. That is KRIS crossed _.
And I'm Megan, and you can find me at Megs and Bacon, MEGGSANGBAECON on Twitter.
And we are so happy that all of you have come back for our 4th wonderful episode on this lovely thing that we admire so much called KCON. And if you have any questions at all about anything that you want us to answer, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media platforms, and we will definitely integrate them into future episodes.
Yep, we will. So have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.